Hey, 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 happy Friday the 13th. Come on in, pull up a chair. The Daily Dope is in the air. Howdy, 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 gang. Yes, I'm Jeff McAleer, back once again as your host here at The Daily Dope, presented by thegaminggang.com, which I happen to be the founder and editor-in-chief. Welcome aboard. It is Friday night. It is also Friday the 13th. Ooh, scary kids, scary. It is episode 410 of The Daily Dope. Do want to mention that if this is your first time visiting with me, it's a very, very casual show, very, very casual stream. Just pretty much talk about tabletop gaming news, a little bit of pop culture stuff from time to time, but it's pretty casual. It's not rocket surgery by any stretch of the imagination. But because this is live, chat is available on YouTube. It's just not on screen. It is one of the ways that I keep some of these stranger commenters, excuse me. Suddenly, a ball of dust just went down my throat. Ah! Yes, it's always dusty here in the duct tape studios. Anyway, as I was going to say, chat is not on screen. It's one of the ways I keep some of the more unusual commenters at bay. But I do pay attention to chat, so if you'd like to say howdy, or maybe you've got a question or a comment, by all means, fire away, and I will respond. Of course, if you like the video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and if you do, don't forget, ring that little bell, because it will notify you not only of when the stream goes live within about a minute or so, it'll also inform you when I upload my standalone videos, such as my first looks and unboxings, page-throughs, reviews, convention coverage, interviews, etc., etc. And of course, when you're not watching videos on the Gaming Gang channel, be sure to visit thegaminggang.com for all the latest in gaming news, reviews, comics, movies, TV. You know the drill. Get your geek on at thegaminggang.com and tell a couple of friends about it. Good deal. Right, so who we got cooking in chat? We've got William McGinnis, Doug Roberts, Viper Dave is here early. That's cool. And we've got Dan from No Enemies here as well in chat. It is a Friday night. I kind of figured, chat would probably be kind of quiet. But you got a few folks already, so that is good. Got a good amount of news tonight. I am going to jump right on in, because fans of The Simpsons and Codenames have lots to be happy about because, you guessed it, Codenames The Simpsons Family Edition is now in stores from the Osprey Games. Here's the dope. The clouds above Springfield are parting to reveal the newest addition to the Ops collection of hit social word games. Start singing the opening theme to Fox's popular animated series, Singing, but there aren't lyrics to it. Maybe humming it? And crowd the living room couch to play Codenames The Simpsons Family Edition, available in stores now. With its bright yellow box to match your favorite cartoon family, this nostalgia-packed version of Check Games' top-secret word game is perfect for bringing slapstick antics into your home this holiday season. Featuring memorable scenes and characters spanning the series' remarkable 30-year run, Codenames The Simpsons Family Edition gives fans a chance to use their knowledge of the show to win this award-winning word and picture deduction challenge. Players face off from opposite sides of a grid made of double-sided cards, where they'll find familiar faces such as the Simpsons family, Ned Flanders, Krusty the Clown, Milhouse, Chief Wiggum, Comic Book Guy, and many others. The clue master on each side must guide their team to reveal the locations of secret cards, but only by using one-word clues and quantities. Codenames The Simpsons Family Edition is for 2 to 8 players, ages 8 and up, plays in around 30 minutes. It does carry an MSRP of $24.99. $0.95. So yeah, so Dan from No Enemies here is mentioning, yeah, this is going to be a hit. Oh yeah, come on, it's Code Names. It's The Simpsons. It is going to fly off of shelves. Although I have to admit, I like Code Names, and that's about as far as it goes. I think Code Names are fine. The various different editions. I wouldn't say no, I'm not going to play it, but it's not something that I really go out of my way to play either. So I know I'm bad. I'm evil. Oh, what can I tell you? Moving right along, Wizards of the Coast had some announcements to make at the Game Awards 2019 last night. One of them is Dungeons & Dragons Dark Alliance. Here's the dope. Wizards of the Coast and Took Games are proud to announce Dark Alliance, a third-person action RPG, will launch worldwide on PC and consoles in fall 2020. Dark Alliance is an exciting, action-driven hack-and-slash adventure filled with iconic monsters, legendary characters, and epic loot. An all-new trailer debuted last night. So, we are going to be taking a look at that. It did introduce millions of players to the game's unique take on Drizzt Do'Urden and his legendary companions. From the moment I founded Took, our team has known that we wanted to bring our passion for D&D and creativity to the Dark Alliance series, said Jeff Haddam, head of the studio, Took Games. We're taking players on an epic journey through the harsh and violent Icewind Dale, where they're going to need to use their wits, their weapons, and their party members to help them survive the iconic monsters we're going to send their way. A spiritual successor to the Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance series, featuring popular characters created by best-selling fantasy author R.A. Salvatore, the new Dark Alliance combines the pulse-pounding action of a hack-and-slash dungeon crawler with the progression and loot systems of a role-playing game. So let's take a quick peek at this teaser video that Wizards of the Coast shared last night. So that's about all I know about that game. Of course, I will keep you in the loop as more details do emerge about Dark Alliance. So, let me comment on that trailer. I hated it. I can't stand that fixed point of view camera work. You see it, I mean, it was like a big deal, 5 years ago? I just hate it. I can't stand it. I can't stand it where it's like, it's supposed to be like a camera positioned in a spot and it doesn't move. It stays like right there. I just despise that trailer. And people wonder why kids have ADHD. It's from shit like that. It really is. So I'm interested in the game, but I'll tell you right now, if it's like that kind of POV bizarreness, I am not going to play it. Just gotta say. So Flaming Huron is here in chat. I like that. It's like, I don't know what I just saw. I know. It's sort of, it seems like some of these companies just, it's almost like they cater to the lowest denominator of us all out there. It's like, I don't know who thought that trailer was a good idea to really get people excited for this game. Now watch, it's probably a pretty cool game. But like I said, that weird POV, don't like it. I don't like that fixed vantage point. Pretty stupid. Okay, so once again, it was a very light board game news day. Very little cooking as far as board game news. But there is plenty of role-playing game news. Because the March 2020 solicits for Pathfinder and Starfinder from Pazio Inc. have been announced. I've got the dope on the major releases. First, we've got Pathfinder 2nd Edition Adventure Path, Life's Long Shadows. Fresh from their successes in Escadar, the heroes bring their traveling circus to the Isle of Kortos, the so-called Starstone Isle, the heart of the Inner Sea. As their circus tours the farming communities in the breadbasket known as the Swardlands, not Swordlands, Swardlands, the heroes get a chance to explore the 3 Aeon Towers that impart enchanted bounty to the land. Yet all is not well in these Swardlands, as ecological damage and raiding beasts threaten the hardworking farmers and loggers. The heroes must overcome the Aeon Towers' stony guardians, entrenched Zulgoth lords and hordes, and a zealous Ditto murderer. Spoilers, everybody! Before they can confront the Zulgoth's alchemist leader and disrupt his disastrous scheme to use the Aeon Towers to bring ruin to everyone on the island. Life's Long Shadows is a Pathfinder adventure for 4 9th-level characters. This adventure from author Greg A. Vaughn continues the Extinction Curse adventure path, a 6-part campaign in which the heroes lead a traveling circus as they unravel a plot to eradicate all life from the islands of the Inner Sea. This adventure also includes information about the bountiful area known as the Swardlands and the malevolent demon lord Zevgabzeb. I'm guessing at that one. As well as new monsters and rules. I will point out, I'm going to take a guess that the artwork I'm sharing for this release will change by the time March rolls around, but this will be available in softcover for $24.99 and in PDF for $17.99. Then we have the Pathfinder Age of Ashes Pawn Collection. Enemies and allies from the Age of Ashes adventure path descend onto your tabletop with the Age of Ashes Pawn Collection, featuring more than 100 pawns for use with Pathfinder 2nd Edition or any tabletop fantasy RPG. Printed on sturdy cardstock, each pawn represents a beautiful full-color image of a monster or NPC from the Age of Ashes campaign, which is just wrapping up this month, including fearsome dragons, vile slavers, fiery foes, and many other allies and enemies. The Age of Ashes Pawn Collection, together with the creatures from the Pathfinder Bestiary Pawn Box, provides pawns for nearly every Age of Ashes encounter. Each cardstock pawn slots into a size-appropriate plastic base from the Bestiary Pawn Box or Pathfinder Pawns Bases assortment, making the pawns easy to mix with traditional metal or plastic miniatures. With tons of distinct images, the Age of Ashes Pawn Collection brings to life the enemies and allies from all 6 adventures of the Age of Ashes adventure path. This will carry an MSRP of $24.99. Then we've got the Starfinder Adventure Path Flight of the Sleepers, which is part 2 of the 6-part The Threefold Conspiracy. Barely escaping a doomed transport, the heroes find themselves trapped within bizarre research facility, that has come under attack. I need a sip here. As Kabuki Kid is hanging out, but sort of distracted. Like the other specimens within this crumbling lab, the heroes must seek escape as their first order of business. As they struggle against weird technology and runaway experiments, the heroes run across the elite stewards agents performing the raid, who prove to be allies and potential rescuers. The stewards have a mission, however, and they recruit the heroes to help finish it. In so doing, the heroes uncover a little truth and a lot more questions in need of answers. Flight of the Sleepers is a Starfinder role-playing game adventure for 4 3rd-level characters. This adventure continues the threefold conspiracy adventure path, a six-part campaign in which the heroes unravel the machinations of insidious aliens who have infiltrated galactic society. This book also includes an article describing the enigmatic Greys, a survey of fringe science, and a selection of new and strange monsters. This will carry an MSRP of $22.99 for the softcover, and the PDF will be available for $15.99. Then finally, we've got the Starfinder RPG Near Space book. Journey to Near Space, the galactic region that contains the packed worlds, the Veskarium, and many of the planets discovered and colonized by explorers from those civilizations. This hardcover rulebook expands the Starfinder campaign setting with details on dozens of worlds and cultures found in near space, each perfect as a locale for science fantasy adventure. Inside this book, you'll find in-depth gazetteers of the 9 worlds of the Veskarium, the interstellar empire founded by the warlike Vesk, detailed entries on other planets and civilizations of near space, new starships from the Veskarium and beyond, alternate racial traits for playable near space races, and new themes, archetypes, equipment, spells, and more for any character. This will carry an MSRP of $39.99. So all 4 of these will arrive in late March of next year. So yes, the discussion with Dan again is WBC, which I jokingly commented on Twitter that Dan thinks WBC is the only gaming convention in the entire world. Yes, I know. I'm just joking. All right, so there we've got the Pathfinder releases. There is a new release from Goodman Games in their Original Adventures Reincarnated line. It's the 3rd release. I've got the dope on Expedition to the Barrier Peaks, an adventure for levels 8 to 12. Goodman Games expands its partnership with Wizards of the Coast with the 3rd release in the Original Adventures Reincarnated line. From a mysterious cave high in the Barrier Peaks they come, savage raiders of unknown origin laying waste to castle and keep, leaving no survivors. The land is in turmoil, and only a band of stalwart heroes dares to launch an expedition into the soaring mountains to stamp out this vile menace. What they discover in these lofty peaks is something beyond their comprehension, a danger spawned from the very stars above. A crashed starship buried for centuries beneath the Barrier Peaks, spoilers, has awoken, and now its alien inhabitants, crazed robots, eerie androids, and even stranger things endanger the world. The adventurers must confront these threats and navigate the unearthly interior of the wrecked starship, puzzling over and mastering alien technology to defeat their foes. If you've ever had the urge to zap an Umberhulk with a laser rifle while commanding a robotic servant, this adventure is for you. This tome is an homage to the original fantasy and science fiction dungeon expedition that began decades ago with S3, Expedition to the Barrier Peaks. Herein, you will find high-quality scans from multiple printings of the original first edition adventure module, plus commentary by gaming luminaries. A full 5th edition conversion of the original adventure is included, as well as brand new additional adventure locations and a dungeon level to expand and develop the spaceship and the surrounding environs. This is the perfect framework for a fully playable extended dungeon delve, suitable for taking your 5th edition campaign in out-of-the-world directions with a distinct old-school vibe. This hardcover edition is available now from Goodman Games. It does carry an MSRP of $49.99. Very cool, very cool. John Vogel has popped on into chat too. Good to see you, John. So I have to admit that I had S3, Expedition to the Barrier Peaks, and that was a really wild adventure for Advanced Dungeons and Dragons. It is, I would say, probably one of the most famous. I'm sharing the image of the little rabbit thing. So those of you out there who actually recall this adventure, there's a bit more to that little rabbit thing sitting there that meets the eye. I remember it freaked everybody out when I busted it out. So I've got a really soft spot for this adventure, even though it is kind of hokey, kind of odd. It doesn't. Now I'm sure Goodman Games has kind of cleaned this up a little bit. It had some oddball kind of discrepancies, I guess is maybe a word that I want. Things didn't all make sense, if I remember correctly. It's been a long, long time. It's been decades since I've seen this, but I seem to recall there was some things just didn't add up in it. So, Kabuki Kid mentions that this was kind of a crossover with D&D and Gamma World. Actually, I believe this was kind of a more along the lines of a cross between Dungeons & Dragons and Metamorphosis Alpha. Because at this point in time, Metamorphosis Alpha was out from TSR. And I don't believe Gamma World was out yet. Because I want to say, I think this adventure is from 80 or 81. So, but it is pretty wild. And it is kind of a funny thing because there's all this like 70s science fiction tech in it too, which is, these days a little wonky. But yeah, very, very cool. So Kabuki Kid says, yes, it was definitely for Gamma World. It says so in the beginning of the module. Cool deal. Hey, I do not know. It has been a long, long time. I always assumed it was kind of a Metamorphosis Alpha kind of tie-in. But there you go. Double K knows what they're talking about. Moving right along, the latest release for Call of Cthulhu and the third-party Miskatonic repository is available now. It's a bit unusual, so here's the dope on Refractions of Glaston. Refractions of Glaston is the result of a creative collaboration between the professional writing department at Taylor University in Upland, Indiana, and Chaosium Inc. The creators are all students at Taylor University. Though many of the team are members of the professional writing major, this is their first foray into the world of role-playing game writing. With help and advice provided by Chaosium's Mike Mason and Lynn Hardy, these writers, editors, and RPG enthusiasts set out to create a unique adventure for Call of Cthulhu fans to enjoy. Let's find out a little bit about this adventure, which once again is called Refractions of Glaston. It's a 1920s horror scenario tempered in northern Indiana. Elias Taylor Winters, the CEO of TWJ Company, discovered a secret to the glass-making process that finally put him above his long-standing competition, ball glass. Shattering expectations for such a small company in rural Indiana, Winters has put Glaston on the map. The town and its economy are booming, but not everything in Glaston is as it should be. Refractions of Glaston is a standalone scenario for Call of Cthulhu 7th edition. It takes place in a rural town in northwest Indiana set in the 1920s. Inside, you'll find a thrilling mystery surrounding the town of Glaston, fueled by intrigue and disturbing encounters. There are hooks for incorporating local cryptids or real-life occurrences into the scenario. There are multiple endings and ways to continue the adventure for investigation addicts, and a history of Indiana that will prepare keepers for running a scenario in such an atypical setting. Working through the entire RPG adventure design process, from idea genesis to publication within one semester, has been a whirlwind for the students and Professor Knight. They managed all aspects from research, writing, editing, art direction, layout, and proofreading. Each student brought their own unique gaming experiences to the course, finishing the course with a greater appreciation for the role-playing games they enjoy so much. The 44-page adventure is available absolutely free at DriveThru RPG. pretty cool. I like this. This is very interesting. Although I have to say, that is one small class for being in a university. That is pretty tiny. As we have X2 Radical popping into chat. Welcome aboard. I believe this is the first time visit for X2 Radical. So, Kabuki Kid says, Jim Ward even sent me his new version of Metamorphosis Alpha several years back. Isn't that Double K? Isn't that like the 5th edition of Metamorphosis Alpha? Was that the latest one? So, because I mean, I don't know. I have not seen it. I had heard kind of mixed response to it, mixed reaction to it. But I have a soft spot for Metamorphosis Alpha. I remember having the original book. Yeah, I swear, all the time. I wish I had all these games and role-playing game releases that I had throughout the decades, because I would have one hell of a museum. And I could probably make a good buck on the secondary market. All right, so Flaming Heron says, this looked enough that I instantly looked it up on Drive-Thru RPG. Very cool. Very cool. And yes, Kabuki Kid says it was 5th edition. That's what I thought. Can't remember the company that it came from. I think it's like a smaller role-playing game company. So my final news piece regarding the second of Osprey Games' initial role-playing game releases. It is out in PDF. We were talking about Paleomythic yesterday, and now here's a wee bit of dope on Romance of the Perilous Land. Romance of the Perilous Land is a role-playing game of magic and adventure set in the world of British folklore. From the stories of King Arthur to the wonderful regional tales told throughout this green and pleasant land, it is a world of romantic chivalry, but also of great danger, with ambitious knights. I should say ambitious kings, evil knights, and thieving brigands terrorizing the land, while greedy giants, malevolent sorcerers, and water-dwelling knucklers lurk in the shadows. As valiant knights, mighty barbarians, subtle cunning folk, and more, the players are heroes, roaming the land to fight evil, right wrongs, and create their own legends. This 256-page PDF is available right now at Drive-Thru RPG for $24.50. And just like Paleomythic, Osprey is sharing my first look video of it on Drive-Thru RPG too. I just, it looks weird when I go and I'm like, that's my video there. That just, I'm not used to it. I mean, I don't have a problem with it. It's cool. But yeah, I'm just not used to seeing that. And of course, when I talk about Drive-Thru RPG, the Gaming Gang and thus the Daily Dope are affiliated with the One Bookshelf sites. So if you are going to visit, say, Drive-Thru RPG, DM's Guild, even, say, the War Game Vault, by all means, please stop by thegaminggang.com first. Click on one of our banners, and that way, if you do make a purchase, I get a little piece of that. Little itty bitty piece. It's usually around 5%, depending on what it is. Although, I take that back, because that's not right. There are some items out there that are like $20 that I get like 25 cents. So, no, that's not right. I just saw something that was emailed to me saying, oh yeah, it's like 5%. I was like, now I think about it, it's like, no, that's not right. Anyway, it doesn't matter. All I gotta say is thank you to all those people who are out there who actually use those banners, because month in, month out pretty much pays for the hosting for thegaminggang.com, which I've told you before is not $3 hosting. It is $65 a month to keep the website around. So, which, that's something, because you got to remember, I'm not like doing Kickstarters or Patreons or anything like that. I don't take money out of your pocket to keep you relatively entertained. Maybe. Fingers crossed. So, yes, Flaming Huron says Jeff is becoming famous. Funny thing is, I am actually very well known in the industry. Just not with gamers. I don't, whatever. Hey, we're almost at 2,000 subscribers. We're getting close. I think we're 29, 28, something like that away. So that's cool. Anyway, that's it for the news. Did want to mention I am looking forward to really kicking back and watching a lot of, well, I tend to watch my iPad when I'm working on articles and stuff like that. So got a lot cooking. So I have to catch up with episode 6 of The Mandalorian. Even though I thought episode 5 was kind of, which was a little disappointing. All the episodes were pretty cool up until that point. I was just like, I see everything coming a mile away in this episode. I don't know what it is. So, got that. Sunday, we'll see the wrap-up of Watchmen, which a lot of people don't realize that it is the finale of Watchmen. It says season finale, so I'm taking a guess maybe HBO has renewed it already. I'm not positive. But it's 9 episodes. That's kind of strange, right? And I'm sure Alan Moore is super pissed off. Because he's always super pissed off about people adapting anything that he's worked on. So I am wondering what's going to happen there. As a Gray Day jumps on into chat. Good to see you, AD. Thanks for joining me on a Friday evening. Okay, so we've got that. The Expanse just came out today on Amazon Prime. That is what I'll be binge watching as soon as I wrap up the show. So, well, after I watch The Mandalorian. So I'm going to watch The Mandalorian, then I'm going to start binge watching The Expanse, and I am really looking forward to it. So, I am going to be playing some games with Elliot Miller tomorrow. I don't know yet what we're playing. I think we're going to get him a character set up for the Call of Cthulhu-ish campaign I'm going to be running with Masks of Nyarlathotep. So we're going to be doing that. And then, I don't know. I think he wants me to bring Terraforming Mars with. So I think we're going to play that. But that's going to be fun. And then Sunday, I will be kicking it. I'll be kicking it and relaxing. So hopefully those of you out there watching are going to have do a little gaming this weekend, maybe. Enjoy yourselves. So, Kabuki Kid says, yeah, we're about to watch The Mandalorian after this. There you go. We're going to be jumping on in. So Double K says a friend of theirs produces The Expanse and never watched it. You know what, Kabuki Kid, don't feel bad because I kept telling Elliot Miller, my best friend, it took me a year. And I told him probably every 2 weeks, hey man, have you started watching The Expanse yet? No. I'm like, dude, you've got to watch it. I'm like, this is awesome. You've got to watch this show. So then, sure enough, he and his wife sat down, watched a couple episodes, and boom, that was it. They binge watched the 3 seasons. Boom, 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 boom. So he's like, wow, this is awesome. And I'm like, yes, I would not recommend crap. So that's pretty cool. You know, Kabuki Kid, I get emails all the time. Now I can't remember the actor's name. The actor who plays the Martian pilot, I think his name is Cass Answar or something like that, something along those lines. I get emails all the time asking to interview him. I'm kind of like, I don't know. I have no idea. So I'm like, maybe one of these days I will. I think that would be pretty interesting. So Kabuki Kid says I do own the Expanse board game at least. I wish I did. Although there was a bunch of buzz about it and then it came out. I heard it's good or okay. And then all the buzz just dried up. So I don't know. As Will Burton has popped in just as we're wrapping up the show. Good to see you, Will. I know Will usually ends up watching the show from the beginning. So anyway, outside of that, that's about it. So Flaming Heron's playing Star Wars RPG tomorrow as per usual. Is that the Fantasy Flight edition or is it the old West End Games D6 version? If I remember right, I think Flaming Heron has pointed out that they play, I think it's the FFG, if I remember correctly. And yes, Jeff Engelstein did do the design for The Expanse. I heard a lot of people talk about before it came out, they were comparing it to Twilight Struggle. And then after it came out, those comparisons ended. So I was kind of like, I don't know. Like I said, I have not played it, so I can't really make any sort of comment about it. And of course, WizKids is pretty much impossible to score review copies from unless you're like Man versus Meatball, which sort of like, which I noticed they're in the middle of another Kickstarter. It's like, geez, give me a break. It's like, don't you make enough dough with the money that the companies pay you to do your videos? You got to double dip out of your audience's pockets too. Ridiculous, pretty ridiculous. So Flaming Heron says CFFG one. Sorry. Well, there's no reason to be sorry. I heard it's great. I heard the FFG edition is great. I've never seen it. I've never gotten through it. So John Vogel's playing The Last 100 Yards. Good game. And Combat Commander. Which Combat Commander? Pacific? Because isn't that the last one that came out? If I remember right? I think that's it. Kabuki Kid says, yes, it's Twilight Struggle-like card usage. Like a multiplayer Twilight Struggle style mechanism with the cards. Nice. Very cool. Very cool. So it looks like a lot of people are playing some games. Good deal. Always like to hear that. Especially as the weather starts to turn. Especially living in the Chicago area. Things have gotten colder. It's always a good time to, stay warm, kick it inside, play some games, bust out some role-playing games. Just enjoy yourself with the family and your friends. It's really, really something that I'm a big proponent of. I really am. So, unfortunately, my nephew Cameron is stuck working tomorrow. Otherwise, he and probably his girlfriend Lexi would have been part of our gaming day as well. Though Elliot's wife and daughter might get involved too. So, Flaming Heron says, yeah, the dice mechanics make it easy but pricey. And if I had to buy all the books, yeah, you'd be out of luck if you were buying all those books. Yeah, that's one thing that, it's funny. I'm sure most of you are familiar with Kenneth Haidt. I think he just prefers Ken Haidt. I don't think it's a big deal. I had an opportunity to have pizza with him and John Zinzer from AEG. This is a few years back. Elliot, when he was part of the gaming gang, was with too. And it was kind of funny because Ken was talking about how role-playing games, people don't get into role-playing games, creating role-playing games to get rich, because you can create like a core book that's excellent, and that's all anybody needs to buy. They got that core book. If you've got imagination, you've got a little time on your hands, you don't need published material. You can come up with it spur of the moment. In fact, as I had mentioned, I'm going to be running Massive Nyarlathotep again. How many years is it later now? This is like 36 years, something like that, since the last time I ran this. And it was funny. Elliot's probably going to be part of it, but he was part of the original campaign I ran. But he doesn't have a great memory on some things. He does remember a lot of the stuff with Massive Nyarlathotep, but the best part of it is all the stuff he really remembers, the stuff that wasn't actually in the adventure. I just pulled it out of the air or other places, but he remembers all this stuff that was not actually in the adventure. So the actual adventure itself, he's gonna be like, I don't remember this. Okay, so Kabuki Kid says they're waiting for Combat Commander Pacific to come back out. Yeah, in fact, I just saw it. I was just about to say, it's really too bad that Chad Jensen passed away, as I noticed Dan had put that. So Flaming Heron's talking about that's a great campaign, long from memory and worth the value of the product. I believe Flaming Heron's talking about Massive Nyarlathotep. So Will Burton says, only played Combat Commander a few times, love the system. I dig it too. Some people don't care for the fact that there's no dice. that the combat result numbers are on the cards, but that doesn't really bother me. All right, so, and Will Burton points out Pacific is at the printers. Combat Commander Pacific is at the printers. We should be seeing Nevsky arrive from GMT for those wargamers out there who are curious. I am usually pretty good at being able to shoot an unboxing video the day it comes to my house. So we will see what happens with that. I'm expecting it probably middle of next week. So if GMT decided to send me a copy, I mean, they could say, hell with Jeff, man. We don't like Jeff anymore. It's their prerogative. But usually, yeah. Usually I, because I already have my little, like, intro video stuff all done. I mean, it's all, you know how I've got, like, the little comic book kind of pages flying by, the panels. It's already done. It's all set for Nevsky. All right, so that is it for tonight's show. I thought I'd chat a little bit with folks hanging out because I don't actually do that all that often. And it's not like I'm antisocial or anything like that. Although I'm never going to WBC. Never. I'm just giving Dan a hard time. A Great Day asked, did I get to play the last 100 yards? Yes, I reviewed it. There's a review video. Check it out. I'm not going to tell you. Go watch the video, A Great Day. Come on. I did like it. I do. I think it's really cool. It's different. And that's what I look for with a lot of the war games these days. When I see stuff, and no offense, but I think everybody knows I can't stand decision games because it's just the same old shit we've seen since the 70s, just recycled, rehashed. It's not even play tested. That's a big problem. So a lot of the stuff that comes out from them is just broken right off the bat. But I like the various different games that come out where it's something different. It's got a little more like visual pop to it, a little more mechanical oomph to it, because that's the only way we're ever going to bring in new gamers into conflict simulations, into wargaming. Because I'm telling you right now, I look at those old, attack factor, defense factor, movement factor, NATO iconography counters, and I'm like, I don't want to play that. I'm like, combat results table. So, anyway, but yeah, so that I definitely thought the last 100 yards was really nicely done. Very nicely done. I saw the review. I was asking outside of that. No, that's cheating. You got to watch the review. If you want to cheat, check the video, skip to the last 10 minutes or so. Everybody does that anyway. That's why I no longer put a timestamp on any of the videos. For one, because when I do the Daily Dope, it's just the news anyway, and then a little discussion and stuff like that. But when I used to do like an unboxing with the news and that, I'd always put the like timestamps. Now I don't do that with any of the videos now, so it's like, because what happens is you do that and people just skip. If I put like, at the 32-minute mark is my review score for XYZ game, a vast majority of people are going to hit that and go right to minute 32 and see the review score. And that's just not my thing, right? I'm not a 3-minute video guy. So, all right. That is, Will Burton says, cool that Decision reprints some of the old monster games, but they are hit and miss otherwise. Yeah, unfortunately, a little more miss than hit with a lot of their stuff. But that's just me. That's, I know some people are big fans, and that's fine. I'm not. All right, so about 45 minutes on tonight's show. That's cool. Anyway, I should once again mention, if you like the video, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel. And of course, if you have not, be sure to ring that little bell. I think 11% of my subscribers have hit that little notification bell. But you should, because it will not only notify you when the stream goes live within about a minute or so, usually. Sometimes people don't get notifications, but usually. It'll also tell you when I upload my standalone videos, which are the unboxings, the page throughs, the first looks, the reviews, the interviews, things like that. So by all means, ring that little bell. I will have some videos up this weekend too, just so you know. And of course, when you're not watching videos on the Gaming Gang channel, be sure to visit thegaminggang.com for all the latest in gaming news, reviews, comics, movies, TV. You know the drill. Get your geek on at thegaminggang.com. Of course, thank you so much for everybody who's watched live tonight, keeping me company on a Friday night. I'm always very pleasantly surprised by how many people pop into chat on a Friday night, because it's Friday night. So I know the Madman's probably got a gaming night. That's why Madman's not hanging out in chat. So, and of course, Kabuki Kid and I are both respectively going to go watch The Mandalorian right after this. But anyway, for those of you who watch live, take part in chat, thank you so very much. Of course, doesn't matter if you watch live or on Memorex. I appreciate each and every one of you who do tune in to check out my videos. Of course, I will be back on Monday. So everybody have a great weekend. Have a lot of fun this weekend. Have a very safe weekend as well. And of course, until next time, happy trails. Zoobadoo-ba-doo-ba-doo-boo-boo. Zoobadoo-ba-doo-ba-doo-boo. Zabba-dabba-dabba-dabba-bum. Zibba. Whoa, hey. I didn't realize that you were still here. Well, if that's the case, then allow me to share the following information with you that I only have 20 seconds to do. So let's all take a deep breath. So if you would like to subscribe to the Gaming Gang channel, please click right here. If you want to check out the latest episode of the Daily Dope, click right here. And if you'd like to check out a randomly selected standalone video, by all means, click right here. Once again, I'm Jeff McAleer, and thanks for watching.